I'm now joined by Alex Gray. He was with Safe Surgery Arkansas, which is a new group that is going to be pushing an initiated act. Good to see you again, as always.
Good to see
you. What is the Safe Surgery Act, and why do you think it is needed?
Well, Safe Surgery Arkansas is a ballot question committee, which anytime you advocate for or against an initiated measure, you have to form one of these so you can report the contributions and expenditures. So Safe Surgery Arkansas is advocating for a referendum, which is provided in the Constitution. And what a referendum is when the General Assembly passes an act. The people have the power within 90 days from the end of the session to collect a certain number of signatures and refer that act that passed to a vote of the general public. And so the act that is the subject here is Act 579, which is it authorizes optometrists who are non-medical doctors to perform eye surgeries and use lasers.
They have traditionally been done by ophthalmologists, but
Correct.
it expands their scope of practice. So
Yes.
This was a huge debate in the Arkansas legislative session. I think we've seen other ballot question committees like this for people to have some sort of historical context. When Arkansas passed a soft drink tax many years ago, there was a referendum to try to repeal that. It failed, actually. So
that was in the early 90s. There was a soft drink tax, but this referendum process has only been used once in the last 50 years. So not a lot of people are aware that it exists, but I guess they're aware that it exists now.
Well, this whole debate over this eye surgery expansion scope of practice here, this was litigated in the Arkansas legislature that just ended. It had pretty strong numbers in terms of its passage in both the House and in the Senate. And some people would say that the people's representatives have spoken. Why does it need to go to a vote of the people, do you think?
Well, I mean, as there was an article, I guess, a few weeks ago in the paper, and there was a lot of money spent on this debate, and this is a patient safety issue. Anytime you're expanding the scope of practice to allow non-medical doctors who have not gone to medical school and have not had the extended specialized training to do surgeries, whether it be on your eyes or your ears or your heart, or your knees, or whatever it may be. I mean, this is a public safety issue, and so we felt like, and kind of this grassroots effort, felt like it's important that the people actually be able to vote on this, as opposed to maybe special interest influencing and advocating for their respective clients on the issue.
You don't think that the medical arguments were fairly presented enough to have an equalized vote on this in the legislature? You think it was influenced by incorrect information, or what?
Well, I think that people made their decisions early, maybe even before maybe they got all the information. There was a poll run by I think a group that has done some polls on this show and has assisted, that showed that the public was against this act, the bill, by more than 40%. So there was a lot of information that showed the general public did not support this. And so, again, maybe the general public will support it, and the act will stay in effect. But maybe they won't. But we felt like it was important that, because this is such an important public safety issue, and this is not just about eye surgeries. This is about a kind of, anytime you're allowing a surgery by a non-medical doctor, this goes beyond just an optometrist, ophthalmologist,
You
debate.
think there's a potential Pandora's box that could be opened on this?
Potentially.
So who's behind this? Is this an industry push behind this, or are there some particular individuals that are supportive of this and hoping to build that coalition out?
This is a push that is, there are medical doctors that are, that perform some of these surgeries. There are medical doctors that don't perform some of these surgeries. There are people who are neither medical doctors or have anything to do with the medical profession that are really concerned about the precedent that this sets, that we're going to allow non-medical doctors to perform surgeries. I mean, it's a huge leap, and like you said, this could easily open Pandora's box, because I'm sure there will be other subspecialties that will say, well, we should be able to cut on people.
Right. So lastly, let's talk about precedent. This has only happened once before, as you and I have both mentioned. Is this going to be precedent setting in terms of doing a ballot question committee on overturning an initiated act? Will we see more of this in the future?
Well,
and is that good public policy?
Well, it's interesting because, again, it's only happened once in the last 50 years, but from 1964 to 1968, it happened 3 or 4 times. So for whatever reason, it just has not happened very frequently one time in the last several years. And so, will it set a precedent? I'm not sure, but I think it's important that people know that this is an option, and it is a specific power that the people reserved to themselves in the Constitution before both of us were born. So, I mean, this is something. This is the people's state, and so at some point in time, there are routes for the people to say, we're going to vote on this, and it's in the Constitution. So we don't feel like this is somehow. Although it may be unprecedented, we don't feel like it's something that will, every act will get referred out or anything like that. But if there are public safety issues, or there are other issues that groups, want to have the people vote, or if and again, this only gets on the ballot if the people sign petitions and petition that it be on the ballot. So. We'll see if it happens more frequently than once in the last 50 years. I anticipate that it may.
All right. He's Alex Gray with Safe Surgery Arkansas. Good to see you. Thank you.
Good to see you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for tuning in, and I'm Roby Brock. We'll see you next time.